Where are the Honeycutts at? They're in the feed.
They're on vacation.
Well, I know that, they're in the feed. But I don't know where they are.
It's the household.
Oh, they're at the house, that's the house, Honeycutts?
No.
No, they're up north right now. I know they stopped in Grayling, but I don't know if that was the destination.
I heard it's gonna be a pretty, remote place of their camping or something like that.
Oh, well, if Dad picked the spot, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's, I think I said, yeah, I think I'm
It's-
supposed
it's-
to, he picked the spot, and he likes to
It's,
get remote,
it's not the Holiday Inn Express,
no electricity.
Probably.
I'm sure he picked.
although he may very well call his tent the Holiday Inn Express, you know. Okay. We're in Genesis 27, the chaos, let the chaos ensue, it already has. Chaos between Jacob and Esau, as Jacob plays his dad for a fool, in my opinion, and so does his mother. You know, you go from this happy story, it's weird with this story as well. You go from the happy story just a chapter earlier, where you know, this gift of God, where or a little bit earlier, where Abraham's father, Abraham's servant, gets sent northeast to go get a wife for Isaac, the son, and it's this very, I mean, I understand that the idea of arranged marriages where the girl just has to go move is not necessarily according to modern conventions, but from the biblical standpoint, it's clearly presented as this blessing from God, and everything, all's well that ends well. And this is going to be, this is the fulfillment of the covenant promise, or the next step in it. You have all of that, and everybody seems to be happy. And then these two kids are born, Jacob and Esau, and then it's just all of a sudden, man, the guile and deception and self-interest comes into play by all of them. So Rebecca's scheming, and then Jacob's scheming, then Rebecca's scheming. Esau's over there. I don't know what to make of him. He's a pain too, apparently. He marries the Hittite women plural too. And so then with all the deception, it ends up the way Jacob wants and the way Rebecca wants. And Jacob gets the promise, gets the blessing, the inheritance. They're all the same thing. By inheriting from the patriarch, Isaac, he also, by implication, inherits the promise that was passed down from Abraham to Isaac. They go together. The physical inheritance of the eldest, or whoever's going to inherit, is now accompanied by also what goes with that is the divine inheritance as well. The covenant promise to Abraham, God gave to Abraham. And so when Jacob inherits, period, one of the things he inherits is the land of Canaan. That's the covenant promise of chapter 15. They go together. Unbeknownst to him, when he did this and he received the blessing from Isaac, he also, what was transferred to him was the inheritance of the land of Canaan itself, which he is about to have to leave. So immediately after that all happens, and he inherits Canaan by inference from the covenant, he has to flee Canaan because of what he's done. So I don't know, it's not this, you know, what a mess. It's not the way, you know, nothing happens in the book, or really in the Bible, from beginning to end. Nothing happens according to any plan that humans would draw up to and including the crucifixion of the Son of God is not something that humans would draw up. So that's,
Where did Esau stay? He stayed in the land?
stayed in the land, yeah.
So it almost seems like he inherited this, doesn't it?
Well, that's the odd part too.
Well, not necessarily, he didn't stay in the land, eventually, he's the father of Eden, the land of Eden, so he's not in the promised land.
But he is when Jacob gets back.
Right.
Well,
That's the odd part. He stays in the land. Jacob leaves the land, and the guy who was supposed to get it, the land with everything else, when Jacob comes back, he will welcome Jacob with open arms. And then the divine providence will move such that Esau, like Lot, like Ishmael, will all be taken out of, he also will be taken out of the way. Go ahead.
I'd always got the impression that he had moved during that 20-year period that Jacob, but that might be me reading it.
That's the first thing that Jacob is concerned about when he comes back. What am I gonna do about Esau? He's gonna kill me. So he divides the family in two.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see that he was actually back in the land of Canaan by that point.
We'll get there, but that's the way that I read it. He comes back into Canaan and he figures he's gonna have to confront Esau. And he's not gonna do it violently. He's gonna try to appease him. And that we can get there, but that's how I read it. Where else would he encounter him? Because he's coming from the northeast.
Yeah.
So there's no evident record that Esau traveled northeast out of Canaan to live. He's gonna end up to the southeast.
Land of Jordan today, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. We can look it up, but
Basically, in the Bible, it's on the east side of the Dead Sea, so.
so I don't know. It's a mess, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting mess. So this is the covenant. This is the passing on of both the inheritance and the land of Canaan. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. That's right out of the covenant. That's right out of the promise in chapter 12. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, God says to Abraham. And now that you can, by implication, the rest of the promise also passes down to Jacob as well. So what's going to happen now is he's going to depart. Well, I guess we could stop there and continue with the text and go. Anybody want to say anything more about that? 30 through 38. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. He also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. The narrative slows down again, gets very detailed. He said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" That's interesting too. It's almost got this, now that the blessing is passed on to Jacob, there's an implied distance between Esau and Isaac that's represented by this phrase here where Isaac doesn't recognize him anymore, in a sense, I think. I just thought of that off the top of my head. Maybe I'm wrong. And he answered, "I am your son, your firstborn, your heir," in Esau's mind, Esau. Isaac trembled very violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me?" This is how fast the decision is made about whether Isaac is going to recant the blessing. "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me, and I ate it all before you came, and I have blessed him, yes, and he shall be blessed." So he's immediately, the blessing shall remain with Jacob. Takes 1 second for that decision to be made. And as soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully." Yep. "He has taken away your blessing." Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these 2 times. He took away my birthright," whatever that means or meant, "and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." Then he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Can I get something out of it?" And Isaac is going to say, "This is not a matter of degree. We'll give him most and you can have some." There's a blessing and there's a curse. There's a blessing and there's a curse. That's going to be the deal. Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him lord over you and all his brothers, and I have given to him for servants. And all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, son?" So literally, Jacob has taken everything. And Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing, my father?" And the answer is, yes, I have one blessing. bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So that's kind of a sad story. Because, I mean, so far, Esau hasn't done anything wrong in the narrative. He married the two Hittite women, but nothing he's done compares to the guy, in my mind, the guile that Jacob has demonstrated. And also with the collusion of his wife, I mean, his mother, colluding against Esau. So he's blaming Jacob for all of this, but then there's his mother standing over it all. It wasn't Jacob's idea, it was his mother's idea. Terrible. But as I've said before, if the divine plan depended on humans doing the right thing and the smart thing, there would be no divine plan. It would never happen. So you either work through the evil, or if you're God, you work through the evil, or you don't work. That's when he shines. That's when he's special. That's what he specializes in. It's easy for me to say, but it's the whole Bible. So I don't have a lot to say about that. It's done. It's a mess. And now Esau has to live with it. Does anybody want to say anything about that? I'm just going to read it, having read it. I've made my commentary on it. And
I think last week I might have asked about what Jacob's mother knew. I don't remember what it was.
she knew that she had a visitation from God who said the elder will serve the younger. And then we know that later on, she made that happen by saying, go in and steal the blessing from your father so that Esau doesn't get it.
Yeah, that's, she's trying to make something happen that God has already said.
The manner in which he's going to have the elder serve the younger, you know, he could have done this. This could have been done many ways. One of which would be Esau dies young, which is probably what everybody would expect. Esau dies young, Jacob inherits. But that's not going to happen because there's other decrees made, such as this right here. May be Lord over your brothers. He's only got one brother. Be Lord over your brother, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. That's part of the decree. So Esau is not going anywhere. This not going to end by Esau dying somehow, and then Jacob just inherits through no fault of anybody. That's part of the curse is part of the blessing. There's a two-sided thing here, the blessing on Jacob and the curse. The elder will go back earlier. What was the statement? Think about that, you know.
Yeah, sometimes too, we really don't get everything that was said over the years. We don't see all of the thought processes, the feeling. We don't get all that. If we did, the book would be so big we couldn't carry it around.
We get a couple of statements. We get a small little dot of everything.
Yeah, we get the general, it's almost like we get the main dots on a what's that called? An outline, but we don't get all the details. So some things we just have to speculate about. We don't get the whole thing. If it was a soap opera that could go on for months and months and months, and you get all the dialogue and all, yeah, you would kind of understand things a little better. But we don't get all that.
Or you don't speculate
Yeah.
because you don't have enough information. In fact, sometimes
That's right.
it's the
That's right.
speculation. It's the speculation that we spend our time on rather than we know exactly what he says we need to know. We know we have the answers to exactly the questions that he thinks matters. We don't have
And
answers to our list of questions. We have an answer to his list of questions.
Maybe the answer to all of this is that despite all the machinations of human beings, God still gets his way.
That's certainly one of the, yeah.
There's a couple of statements in scripture that give comfort, especially when you think about speculative things. And one is in Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong to God, but what was revealed belongs to us. And then there's a statement by Peter in 2 Peter chapter 1 that God's word has given us everything we need for life and godliness.
Right.
So the things that we can speculate about, there might be fun to speculate about, but we don't need it.
And they don't belong in, I mean, we do it here, but they don't belong in sermons or books, commentary. I mean, you can speculate in a commentary, but they're going to identify it as kind of speculation. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Why we have to believe everything by faith.
Mhm.
All right, back to 27. Why was I here? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah. So the point is, it's not, the promise isn't, hey, two nations are in your womb and the younger will inherit. As if Esau, anything could happen to Esau. He could die young or something. That's not what's said.
Mhm.
The older will serve the younger. So they're both going to live and they're both going to have a posterity. And that's going to affect generations of Israelites. Because they're going to have this ongoing thing with his descendants, Edom. All right. All right, finish this off. Then Isaac, so he wants a blessing. He realizes he's not going to get it. On the contrary, it gets worse. Esau, here comes the curse. You wanted a blessing and there was only one, so you're going to get the curse. Isaac, his father, answered and said to him, behold, away from the fatness of the, it almost has the sense of the curse on Cain. In fact, let's go back and look at that. This is off the top of my head. Let's look at Cain's 4. 4?
This is where.
Verse 11. So let's keep this in mind. The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground, and now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened up its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. That's to Cain. But now let's go back and look at the one on Adam. Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth to you. You shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Those two, of course, did evil to gain those curses. Then there's Esau. Away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. Esau is an awful lot like what happened to Cain and Adam. And he goes east, just like Cain and Adam did. And Lot, who else went east? Ishmael.
Yeah, they'll go east.
All these people go east. Where did Abraham come from?
The east.
From the east. Came back in, yeah. So I don't know what it is about east, but you don't want to be there back at this time.
I mean, most of them ended up serving God east rather than the one true God.
And they still do. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching, then I will kill my brother Jacob. I get the sense that that's not an idle threat, that he is fully willing and capable of carrying out this threat, and his mother knows it. But the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee, flee to Laban, my brother, in Haran. So your problems are just beginning. Stay with him a while. How long is he gonna stay? You're gonna stay 20 years. Yep. You're gonna stay 20 years as an indentured servant. Until your brother's fury turns away. Until your brother's anger turns away from you. That's exactly what's gonna happen. She's not wrong about that. It will take 20 years. He'll go away for 20 years. He's gonna suffer for it. And when he comes back, Esau will welcome him with open arms. And he forgets what you have done to him. And that's exactly what happened. Then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of you both in one day? Says the woman who did everything, connived every way she could
Yeah,
to, I don't know what you want to call it.
she didn't take any blame.
No, she's not taking any blame. There's not a lot of regret here. There's just, it had to be.
But that's another case of where she knew that the younger was, but the older was serve the younger, and yet she felt like she had to save his life by sending him away.
Well, and she lied again, because she just said before, let the curse be on me. Is that, oh, well, sucks for you, bye.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Laura says, and she also told Jacob, don't worry about it. Let his curse be on me. If he finds out, which he did. But the curse didn't fall to Rebecca. Who'd the curse fall to? Esau. Esau got the curse. Yeah. Jacob was worried that it would be him who would inherit the curse. No, what's going to happen is Esau's going to inherit a curse because of you. That's what's going to happen. Then Rebecca, let the conniving continue. Let it continue. Now, it's chapter 20. Chapter 27 is one of the most conniving books in the entire Bible. I mean, it's just the whole thing. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women like these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me? To continue to play Isaac.
I mean, that could still be true.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No. That doesn't matter that it's true. That's not the point. So that's how that chapter ends. It's another one of those poor chapter divisions in the Bible.
Linda just said it's all about me.
It's all about me, yeah.
About Rebecca.
Yeah. She's certainly is the one that carries the narrative here. I mean,
So Esau's curse is exactly the reverse of Jacob's blessing, denial of fruitful land and the dew of heaven, and bondage instead of mastery. He will have a progeny. He's going to have descendants, but they're going to inherit the curse.
Another thing too, for the most part, until Rebecca's death, you don't hear nothing about Rebecca anymore. So she dies, basically.
Yeah, there's no evidence in the text, argument from silence, but there's no evidence in the text that Rebecca ever saw Jacob again.
did we even read about her then? We read about Rachel's.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in there.
Okay.
Maybe she's not. Does she disappear at this point?
Pretty much.
She disappears.
And we read about the deaths of Rachel and Isaac in chapter 35.
So, Rebecca,
She was passed away by the time he went to Egypt, so.
Probably.
Rebecca does for Jacob, has Jacob do for himself. This is a parallel story, right? Abraham sent a servant to go get a wife for Isaac from among his own people. But it was out in the open. I don't want him to have a wife from the land. I want him to have a wife from my people. So go get my son a wife from my people. Transparent. This is this Hittite woman thing, and I don't want him marrying a Hittite because they're a pain. I mean, I guess I don't want them. Okay, I mean, there is a parallel, right? I don't want him marrying a wife from the land, says Rebecca. It's just these Hittite women, because apparently that's what they were doing.
You step back and look at the greater narrative from Abraham on. And there's a lot of issues with truthfulness.
Yeah, all the way back.
all the way
Yeah.
back there. I don't see it necessarily, well, you do see it in Cain.
Now, the sin,
But,
the sin principle starts with Adam and Eve, and it will work its line all the way through Genesis. Yeah, never stops.
They didn't take credit for what they've done, they just kept blaming somebody else.
In fact, the Bible is very, very deliberate about making sure that the Bible is the Old Testament is, you know, in Romans 5, there's sin passed from Adam to all men because all sinned. That's kind of the story of, from one vantage point, the story of the Old Testament. You'll just see that sin, that contagion infect the entire human race. And in a sense, the unfolding drama of the history of redemption is the transmission of that sin up until the time of a savior. Okay. You know, I do this a lot, you know, none of these secular New Testament scholars think there's any truth to this kind of a story. This is all mythical fabrication from much, much later, like the time of the exile or something like that. Well, what I want to know is what, if you're if you're fabricating a history of your own people, this is it. This is the history you fabricate.
Yeah, it doesn't
Your
make sense.
people were built on lies and deception and you know, scheming and selfishness, ruthlessness, brutality, because it ain't gonna stop here. That's the story you made up? I don't get it. That's not the myths. That's not the Greek legends.
I wonder if
you
there
know-
was a struggle with the way God had it presented, you know, man, I want to present this in a positive way, you know, we always do that today, right?
Let's take, for example, the story of the founding of Rome. Romulus and who? Ooh. Wow. Sharon knows the name of the other son.
Yeah, Remus. Remus. I couldn't hear Sharon. A lot of times I can't hear anything else, but yeah, Romulus and Remus. Remember that from Latin class.
Wow, Latin class.
Yeah, years ago. A few years back.
So this is this is the sort of founding story of Rome. You got these twins, Romulus and Remus, fathered by the war god Amulius. I don't know how to say it. Had ordered the infants drown in the river, but the trough in which they were placed floated down the river. Sound familiar? Came to rest at the site of the future Rome. So it's kind of this, you know, founded the town. It's this, from the Roman point of view, it's this inspiring story of divine providence on these two twins. Unless, thought his power, the city was named for him. Off he increased his population by offering asylum to fugitives and exiles. Festival, you know, it's, oh, he abducted their women. That's not good. Well, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, Romulus and Remus were raised by wolves. That was
Yeah.
the story.
This one seems uglier than that.
I think
Yeah,
the German fairy tale Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, because of the curses, you know, she's getting blessed by the three fairies, and then there's the evil one shows up and says, yeah, you're gonna die from cutting your finger. And then the last fairy says, you won't die, you'll just go to sleep. So I don't know, like you'll break from this yoke from your neck made me think of like trying to switch the curse. But if people had written this, I would think you'd do that more for like, I don't know, a happy ending.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a realistic origin story if it was. I mean, it'd make nice fiction, but it's not, I don't know how it would make its way into the chronicles of the history of your people as founding, this is the founding story, like Romulus and Remus and others, you know, this is the founding story.
It probably doesn't have a Hallmark ending.
Does not have, yeah, Hallmark beginning. This does not have a Hallmark beginning. We get a Hallmark ending in the person of Jesus Christ, but the story of, not much of the story of Israel belongs in a Hallmark movie.
Well, I think the whole Bible, the whole story is summed up really by Satan saying, I want to be God. I want to be even higher than God. And God saying, well, I have this creation and we'll just see how things turn out for that thought. And the thought is that eventually God wins, not Satan. But it's been so long and drawn out. And sometimes I wonder with God, why have you waited so long? Why have you waited? But I think it's really a contest between Satan and God is letting it draw out and letting as many people as possible be saved. I think that's and then eventually, if we think about how time is with God, maybe it's the same way with Satan, that it just seems to be 1,000 years is as a day with God. So maybe it doesn't seem long with God, but it seems long from our perspective. I don't know,
Romans,
just my thought on it.
Romans 9, his commentary on merit. Does Paul look back on the history of Israel and see merit, even from the very beginning? But also, not only so, but also when Rebekah had conceived children by one man, though they were not yet born, and had done nothing good or bad, in order that God's purpose of election might continue, not because of works, not because of anything they would do, but because of him who calls. He's well aware of what Jacob did. She was told, the older will serve the younger. And so Jacob is the embodiment. He is the case study in how election works in the providence, in the will of God, in the counsel of God. That's how election works. Nobody is elect because they had something to offer. It's got nothing to do with it. In fact, if you want to go further on it, it seems like it'd be the other way around. One.
Yeah. Yeah, 18 or so.
For consider your calling, verse 26. Consider your calling, brothers. Not many of you were wise according to worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. None of you were, we talked about status in the Roman Empire, right? None of you had that. None of you had status. That's what the Roman Paul is saying. But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, things which are not, so that he might nullify the things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God. There is no boasting that Jacob can possibly offer. All right, that's 27. Let the ugliness continue. Now Jacob's going to go like what happened to the servant, Abraham's servant. He's going to go fetch a wife from, the northeast out of the family, and he's going to bring her back, and it's all going to live happily ever after. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah. The wife got along so well.
Oh boy. This is the mandate. So Isaac falls for it. This is the mandate. Isaac called Jacob, blessed him. There's that word again, blessed him, directed him, you must not take a wife from the Canaanite women. We all know that the Canaanites are all under the judgment of God. Their fate is sealed 400 years before it happens. More than that, whatever the number of centuries is. Arise, go to Paddan Aram, which is the same place that Abraham's servant went, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, which is the same place. Take as your wife from there one of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. Go get me a cousin. Go get me Jacob's cousin. Is that right? Go get me Jacob's, go get me a cousin of Jacob's. Huh?
First cousin.
Cousin, yeah. God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you. Here's the blessing of the covenant again, that you may become a company of peoples. May he give the blessing of Abraham to you and to your offspring with you, that you may take possession of the land of your sojournings that God gave to Abraham. Very, very well aware of the promises made to his father. So going backward, in that moment, when he realizes he was deceived and he had blessed Jacob, he knew this. So you have to assume that he got his mind right really quick on the question of Esau and Jacob.
Seems that, you know, in what we looked at last week, he did get clarity in his mind when he answered to Esau, oh, blessings given. No going back.
Thus Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, who was already not, commended himself as a virtuous man, the son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother. So I don't have a lot. There's the marching orders. You're going to go and do the same thing. And the first story, when Abraham's servant went, was pretty long. That's the one I said was told more than one time. They labor over the narrative. This is even longer. Both of these stories are very, very text heavy. They slow the narrative down. This selection of the wife thing is a big deal in these two stories. These two sequences of what happens to Isaac and his wife and Jacob and his wife. I don't have any more to say about that, unless somebody else does. What else? What can we say here? Let's take a look here. Yeah, we can reset our. We'll look at that map in a second, or that. Here's make this bigger. Yeah, let's just look at this. Where's Paddan Aram? I need my mark. I need my pointer, but I don't. Paddan Aram is way up there in the northeast, at the top of that black line.
So that's not a city. Paddan Aram isn't a city, it's an area.
It appears so. That probably did have a city in the center of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's what's funny about that is, you know, he's supposed to leave Haran. This was the call, right? In chapter 12, go forth from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house. Well, that was Haran. Go down to the land that I will show you, Canaan. But now twice now, where do they go get their wives from? Go right straight back up there to where Haran is. It's like his family. It's like God is keeping Abraham's family around up there as the place where the children of the promise can get their wives from.
Couldn't they get their wives from any place else and still have the promise carried out?
No, if they married a Canaanite woman, then their children will be half Canaanite, and those are under the curse. So I guess I understand that. I don't know why it didn't apply to Jacob's children.
What you could say is there's a reverse direction for the blessing. Retroactive blessing. The blessing is down from Abraham to Jacob and so on. It's kind of up from Abraham up to his family as well, at least this one. Haran and his descendants, Bethuel and even Laban, because they're doing well up there too. He's an idiot as well. I mean, you know, it's terrible. But that's interesting.
It only lasted for 3 generations.
It'll last for 3 generations, yeah. All right. So there's Paddan Aram. That's where he's headed. The reversal of the lines, they keep going back up that black line to do their business. Then we got this here. So we're right here. Let's get caught up here. And I got to finish this out. We got to add to this that somehow I got to change this. So here's the line, Nahor. I said Haran. Haran died. Nahor is the father of Bethuel, who is the father of Rebekah. He will also be the father of Laban, Rebekah's brother. And Laban will have two daughters named Rachel and Leah. So they're gonna come into the picture in a minute. I gotta somehow get them on this graph. You're not gonna get all well, yeah, I have to figure out a way to get the whole mess of the 12 tribes on this thing. I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
I think you have to make another slide.
I never make another slide. What are you talking about? Look at that. You think I was gonna make 2 slides out of that? Look at that work of art right there. Thing's unbelievable.
Somebody will have to teach me how to do that.
What make us make that? You don't have the time to make it. You're married with children.
So I never watched.
God has chosen you for a different destiny. I make charts and graphs and maps and stuff.
So one thing that stood out to me from that graph of the family lineage, Aaron. And then we had the town, Aaron, north of Paddan Aram. I'm guessing in the biblical narrative, that's probably where Aaron died and was buried, and that's how it got its name. I mean, that is a supposition.
Aaron?
Aaron, H-A-R.
Oh, yeah, or that's just what his family refers to it as.
Yeah.
Heron, because that's where Heron was from. Who knows what the locals called it?
Right.
But you could go either way. It's again, it's speculation. Don't put it in a sermon. All right. Now Esau, we're not done with him, saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan Aram to take a wife from there. And that as he blessed him, he directed him, you must not take a wife from the Canaanite women. That Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and gone to Paddan Aram. He could have chased them down if he wanted to. So when Esau saw that the Canaanite women did not please Isaac his father, Esau went to Ishmael, took as his wife, besides the wives he had, you're going to love this, Laura, all this part here, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth. So I don't know why he thought that would be. Is he trying to get in good with his mother and father by not marrying Hittite women anymore, you know? Yeah, I've already got 2 wives. Oh, they don't like either one of those wives? Well, I'll go get me a 3rd one. But it'll be a descendant of our related cousinry over there, Ishmael. Okay, you know, nice try.
That's all said about, there's no commentary on it or anything.
So my summary on that is, while Jacob, son of the promise, sets out to seek a wife from his own line, Esau, the rejected son, intermingles with Hittites and with the offspring of Abraham's rejected son.
One rejected son marrying the daughter of another.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in close communication.
Yeah, it is unpretty. This is a long section. We might stop here early because 10 through 17, I got some things to say.
That's a lot in there.
Yeah. Anybody want
So Jacob's son, the 12 sons, they didn't go back to Haran to get wives.
No,
to? No.
no, they married locals. So I don't know how that all works and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I know that Abraham forbid Isaac to leave the land to go find a wife. That's why he sent to serve.
But then Isaac ordered his son to leave the land
Right.
to go get a wife.
And of course, Isaac probably understood that his son's life was in peril too.
So when
He's not totally idiot.
Yeah.
when he leaves, when Jacob leaves, you might think, oh, well, he's never coming back.
Yeah.
He'll just never come back because it's going to be 20 years. But on the way out, the narrator makes sure everybody understands that there is no question that he's coming back because God's going to make it clear.
Kicked him out.
Well, Jacob also starts off with a good relationship with Laban, and as time goes on, their relationship deteriorates to the point where Jacob realized that he needs to leave Laban and, so that was kind of another way of God's plan of him getting them back, come back to,
That's a good point. He flees Canaan because of his own deception. And then he's gonna have to flee back. Kind of because of his own,
But
You know.
in the midst of it, you have Laban as bad of
Oh,
a
yeah.
deceiver as.
oh yeah, I know, that's, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, pick your hero. Jacob or Laban, pick your hero.
I pick God.
Okay, let's go ahead and stop. Thanks, everyone.
I pick God too. That sounds good.
That's a quorum.
all right.